These are real videotapes of a conversation between a 6-year-old girl, Beth Thomas, and a clinical psychologist.
Are people afraid of you, Beth?
Uh-huh.
Who's afraid of you, Beth?
John.
Your brother. And why is your brother afraid of you?
Because I hurt him so much.
And what are you trying to do to your brother?
Kill him.
Who else would you like to stick pins into?
Mommy and Daddy.
What would you like to have happen to them?
Die.
And what would you do to him, Beth?
Stab him.
Okay. What would you stab him with?
A knife.
What turned this 6-year-old girl into a little psychopath? Was she born a monster, or was something far more disturbing behind it? In February 1984, a married couple in the southern United States, Tim Tennant and his wife Julie, were eager to start a family. Tim was a minister at a small Methodist church, and the couple had been happily married for 12 years. They longed to share their love with a child and believed they had so much to give. But despite their hopes, they were unable to have children of their own, so they decided to adopt. Not long after, they received a call from the Department of Social Services. There was a pair of siblings available for adoption, a 19-month-old girl named Beth and her 7-month-old baby brother, John. The couple was assured that both children were normal and healthy. Tim and Julie were stunned. They had always heard that adoption could take years, sometimes even a decade, so they never expected their dream to come true so quickly. It felt like a miracle. But what they didn't know was that this so-called miracle would soon turn into a nightmare. After a few months of living with the kids, they decided to lock their young daughter Beth in her room at night. But don't get it twisted. Tim and Julie loved both children deeply. They weren't being harsh. They had just noticed something strange about Beth. One time, Beth took baby birds down from their nest. Julie and Tim thought she might just be curious, so they explained to her that she could hurt them.
The mother won't come back if someone touches her babies. Put them back, Beth.
The next day, Julie went out to check on the baby birds and was shocked to find
Tim!
all the baby birds were on the ground, dead, with their necks broken. During therapy sessions with Dr. Ken Magid, Beth openly admitted,
With the baby birds, what did you do?
Took them out of the tree.
And what did you do with them?
Played around too rough.
So did the little baby birds die?
I don't know.
You don't remember? Did baby Beth squeeze them? Do you know what Mom said to me? She said that all of them were dead. Tell me, what happened?
I squeezed them.
And what happened?
They died.
They had also kept 4 small pets at home, and Beth would stick them with pins.
Do you stick them a little bit or a lot?
A lot.
What are you trying to do to the animals, Beth?
Kill them.
Beth didn't stop there. She also turned her attention to her brother John. She would sneak into his room at night and punch him in the stomach. But there was one incident that ended with John being sent to the hospital. Beth, stop! One day, Julie heard screams from the basement. She rushed downstairs and found Beth smashing John's head against the cement floor. John had been playing with toys before Beth attacked him, and even though John was begging her to stop, she wouldn't. She just kept hurting him. Julie had to physically pull Beth's hand away from John, and Beth just stared at her, wide-eyed. John's head and chin were so badly hurt, he needed stitches.
And what if Mom didn't stop you? What would you have done?
Kept on doing it.
What were you thinking when you were doing that?
Thinking of killing him.
There was also one time when Julie woke up to find John crying, his pants pulled down. She asked Beth what she was doing, and Beth calmly said,
And she said, I pulled his penis and put my finger up his penis.
And what do you do with your brother, with his private parts, Beth?
I pinch it, squeeze it, kick it.
Not only that, but she would also hurt herself in the same way. One time, Julie and the 2 kids were at the hospital waiting for Tim to come out. He was visiting, and Beth and John were in the back seat. When Julie turned around, she saw
Seat, and I turned around, and she had her legs spread and was masturbating in a public parking lot.
According to Julie, Beth actually touched herself daily and constantly.
Have you ever rubbed your private parts?
Mm-hmm. I did it every single day until it got real bad and messed up, and I had to go to the doctor, and I did not like it.
What do you mean by real bad?
Well, it looked real raw, got all kinds of boo-boos on it, germs. A lot of stuff from my hand.
And it bled?
Beth also often had nightmares. In these dreams, she would be in the house upstairs and a man would come up the stairs and start hurting her with a part of himself. Her acts of violence grew more cruel and disturbing. Julie began to notice that the knives in the kitchen were disappearing, and her first instinct was to suspect Beth. At first, she felt guilty for having such thoughts.
After all, she was just a little girl.
So Julie didn't mention her suspicions to Beth. Weeks later, however, Beth was sitting at the table, drawing, and casually mentioned to Julie with a small smile, "What are those knives that are gone, Mom?" "Weren't they kind of silver and about this big?" Beth asked. But that smile wasn't sweet. It was a malicious, almost sinister smile. That's when Julie realized Beth had taken the knives. When the doctor asked about it, Beth shrugged nonchalantly, saying,
I got them from the dishwasher.
What kind of knives?
Big sharp ones.
And what do you want to do with those knives?
Kill John and Mommy with them, and Daddy.
When describing these events, 6-year-old Beth was calm and logical, with no emotion on her face. She spoke with a detached, almost robotic tone, as if she were simply stating a fact. There was no pain, no remorse in her eyes, just emptiness. After being examined by Dr. Magid, he diagnosed Beth with reactive attachment disorder, RAD. RAD is a psychological condition that typically affects children who, before the age of 3, fail to form a secure, loving attachment with a primary caregiver. This lack of attachment often results from neglect, abuse, or being raised in an environment where emotional needs were unmet. As a result, children with RAD can develop behaviors such as emotional withdrawal, low self-esteem, rebelliousness, impulsivity, and an inability to regulate emotions. These children rarely respond emotionally to others, showing little to no positive emotional reactions. However, Tim and Julie were by no means neglectful parents. They were loving and patient, doing everything they could to help Beth despite her troubling behavior. They took her to multiple specialists and tried everything to help her. But the question remained, what sparked Beth's personality disorders? Through therapy sessions with Dr. Magid, Beth began to slowly uncover the source of her trauma. It turns out that the story Tim and Julie were told about Beth and Jonathan being normal and healthy was a lie. In reality, when the two children entered their new home, they brought with them the dark and disturbing shadows of their past. Beth was born around 1982, and when she was just 1 year old, her birth mother passed away, leaving her and her newborn brother, Jonathan, with their biological father. However, their father was far from a loving, caring figure. He neglected the children, and their living conditions were dire. There was rarely enough food for them to eat, sometimes just a box of Kix cereal to last the day. When Child Services found Jonathan, he was lying in a bassinet with patches of sores covering his body, a dirty diaper, and bottles of spoiled milk at his feet. His head had developed an odd shape from being left in the same position for extended periods. Such a father was clearly unfit to raise children, and unsurprisingly, he lost custody of them. However, at the time, people assumed it was simply neglect, unaware of the much darker and more disturbing truths lurking beneath the surface. Do you remember the nightmare Beth had mentioned earlier? The one in which a man would ascend the stairs to hurt her? That man in her dreams was none other than her biological father. After their mother passed away, Beth endured not just neglect, but also physical trauma and violent sexual abuse until she was just 19 months old.
Tell me about your birth father. What was that nightmare like?
When he touched my vagina, hurt it a lot until it bled. And wouldn't be very nice to me.
How old were you?
1.
Beth also showed Dr. Magid a drawing she had made, one that would leave a haunting impression.
Where's your birth father? What's he doing?
He's right there, and there's his hand. His hand's right there.
What's it touching?
My vagina.
And what is your birth father doing?
Hurting it.
Your face looks sad. Can you tell me about that?
It's crying because there's dots of the tears.
Because of these early childhood experiences, Beth never developed a sense of conscience, love, or trust for anyone. When asked why she wanted to kill her family, she said,
Because I was hurt so bad, and I don't want to be around people.
Okay.
After evaluating Beth's psychological condition, Dr. Magid decided that she should be temporarily separated from her adoptive family as she still required intensive therapy to heal. She was placed in the care of Connell Watkins, a therapist who specialized in intensive behavioral modification therapy. Watkins was extremely strict with Beth, requiring her to ask permission for nearly everything: eating, using the bathroom, and even basic freedoms like moving around. This structured, rigid environment forced Beth to earn the trust of Watkins and the other staff members who were helping her. She had to prove that she could follow rules and demonstrate genuine change before she could earn privileges and more freedom. Under Watkins' care, Beth began to flourish. Within a year, she developed empathy, stopped self-harming, and slowly learned how to love. She even managed to make friends at church, singing in the choir and connecting with others in a healthy way. She began to interact with animals, grooming dogs, and for the first time she was able to experience love and trust from others. Beth had transformed into a genuinely healthy and happy child, one who was no longer defined by the trauma of her past, but was learning to build a new, positive future. When Beth reflected on the past incidents of hurting her younger brother, she no longer displayed the detached indifference she once had. Instead, she lowered her head.
And who did you hurt?
My brother, my mom and dad, and animals.
Who did it hurt the most?
It hurt me the most.
How did it hurt you the most?
Because when I hurt other people, I'm hurting my good self.
How do you feel right now, Beth?
Sad.
It's kind of tough to talk about, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Nearly 40 years have passed, and today, Beth has built a successful career as a registered nurse and a speaker, using her platform to raise awareness about RAD. Her journey serves as a powerful reminder that while not all abused children are as severely affected as she was, every child who suffers abuse carries profound emotional wounds that can last a lifetime. Beth is a beacon of hope and resilience. Had she not possessed such a strong drive for self-redemption, even with the appropriate help, her path may not have led to the success she enjoys today. May all children who have suffered find the help they need and reach out for the support that will help them rediscover their happiness.